If you guys like the content here, please hit that subscribe button. It costs you nothing. And don't forget to hit the notification bell to be notified when new videos go live. Hey guys, Funkymusic here, and today I wanted to talk about some of the misinformation that is going on for Warmane players and these people making YouTube videos and making guides that are just completely and utterly not right. Now, I want to preface my comments by saying I'm not here to start a war. This is not obviously a Retards of Warmane video, and I don't want this video to go that route. I wanted this to be more formal but /, informal, with me sitting in front of the camera and actually explaining this so you can actually see my expressions and why this is it's painful to watch, and it bothers me because I really do love the community here on Warmane, regardless of what people think. There are bad apples for sure. There are people who just don't understand the game whatsoever, and I get that. That's part of the territory that comes with it, but you know, I brush it off. There's some people that you can't teach either. So there is that as well. But today I wanted to talk a little bit about Awbeex and some of the things that he's been posting and his channel. Again, I want to preference my comments by saying that this is not about subscribers. This is not about views. This has nothing to do with that. This is about getting the correct information out to the Warmane players. Now, at the end of this video, I'm going to put some of the stuff in here, some of the clips that I'm going to be talking about in here about Awbeex. And real quick, we've gone over this. There's a Twitch stream about it, and we had a lot of the people who have written the correct guides, a lot of the top players on Warmane, who have done Zero Buff Light of Dawn many, many times, who have basically pioneered the theory crafting here on Warmane. This ranges from Fluffy, Suxus, Nemo, Quasi, Xylus. The list goes on and on. Even his own GM was in this conversation with us. DK Bala was here with us in that Twitch discussion. We all had a nice big gathering, and we all talked about it, and you know, kind of worked out. You know, like just talked about why, you know, when you mislead the community like this, it's not good for anybody. It's really not. And I want players to get the correct information. Now, I'm not going to get into every single video here. I'm just going to be covering some basic stuff here. And I just want to quote some stuff that me and Suxus had talked about and discussed in Discord. So you guys can kind of get a little bit of a picture of what I'm talking about here. So I'm just going to be quoting Suxus, so just bear with me here. He says, "But mages are what gets me, man. He mentioned that due to Ignite, they could theoretically push infinite amount of DPS, which makes no sense. It feels like he didn't even read what Ignite does. It's basically a dot that deals 40% of your critical damage when you crit, and it stacks. But no matter how much you stack it, it's always 40% of your crit. You can view it as, quote, your critical damage is increased by 40%, end quote. It basically means just that. And what's worse is his Frost Firebolt Mage Guide, FFB. What made me want to end my existence. First talents, he specs Blast Wave and Dragon's Breath, which deals abysmal damage, has no place in PvE. In the guide, he provides a BIS list for all specs, including TTW, FFB, and Arcane. Those are all mage specs. And all three BIS lists are just plain wrong. As for TTW, Crushing Cold Wraith Belt is not BIS. It is and it will always be Lingering Illness, which gives Spirit and Crit instead of Haste and Crit. No matter how many mages use Haste Belt, doesn't make it better. The reason is simple. You need enough haste to push 3 fireballs with your 2/5 set bonus, which when active gives you a 12% haste increase for 5 seconds. Every haste beyond that is a waste and gives you almost nothing. So he's saying he's going beyond the haste that he needs. Crit converted from Spirit is much more valuable. Same goes for a Frost Firebolt BIS list. Arcane BIS list is just plain wrong all the way. He has too much hit. BIS chest should be tier 10. 277 level, not Robe of the Walking Nightmare. Ring should be Gunship Crit Haste Ring, not Marigar Hit Crit. Hand should be Gunship Haste plus Hit, not Crit plus Hit. Tier 10 heroic ones. I have more. Wait, it gets worse. His gemming is wrong. You need 2 23 spell power gems in places where you have blue and yellow sockets, and 23 spell power gems where you have blue sockets. Or same thing. Every other socket combination is not worth going for the bonus. So what he's talking about here, and I'll actually bring my character out so I can show you when I'm doing it. And I have the same problem with the rest of Druids, okay? And I'll calculate this out for you real quick, guys, so we can get back to what we're talking about here. So the reason why you're not going to use a blue gem here, and I see tons of Resto Druids doing this, and it's just plain wrong. You're min-maxing your gear. Now what min-maxing is, you go for your caps. If you have a haste cap, crit cap, hit cap, whatever, you get to your caps, and then you pour all your resources into one thing which is best for you. In Resto Druid's case, it is spell power. Now there's other things that you can get that are a little bit helpful, but nothing's more helpful than spell power for Resto Druids. It becomes what we like to say, this is where min-maxing comes in. So you want to maximize your spell power, minimize pretty much everything else. Now, this can be somewhat fluctuated a little bit. There's some things that you may be able to pick up, such as like Natural Perfection. It does increase your crit. While that's not spell power, there's nothing really spell power to go for in here. So let's go over what we're talking about as far as the gem goes. So the improved Tree of Life increased 15%. Let's see, and it increases your spell power total by 15% of your spirit while in Tree of Life form. So what this means is, so when I go into Tree of Life, all my spirit, 15% of it is converted into spell power. Now, spell power is our best stat to roll for once you get up there and you get all your caps and whatnot. Okay, the thing is, you wouldn't put it in here because it's a 12 spell power, 10 spirit gem. Okay, so 10% or 15% of that 10 spirit that you're getting translates into 1.5 spell power. So really, the 12 spell power and the 10 spirit gem that you're putting in there is actually giving you 13.5 spell power, right? So even if you hit the socket bonus, 13.5 plus 5 gives you 18.5 spell power and 10 spirit. Versus putting a 23 spell power gem in here, which is even more useful and a higher spell power than the hitting the socket bonus here. So a lot of people like to hit socket bonuses, and people don't realize that socket bonuses are actually bad in some cases. You can hit them where you can, but places where you need to min-max your gear, for instance, on a Resto Druid, here we got the neck, we've got the cape, we've got the chest. Hitting those spell power bonuses are not worth it when a 23 spell power gem or whatever you're using, whatever your best stat is that you want to be maximizing it's not going to be worth putting in a gem to hit that socket bonus. So a lot of people get confused on that and whatnot, and it's not good. Real quick as well, I know he does preface some of his preface some of his videos with, well, in my opinion, and that's perfectly fine. However, he needs to explain, I think that even though people say that, they really need to like knock that part out of the park when they talk about that. Like, in my opinion, this is the best. Even though there's guides and other people out there who are way better, have way more knowledge of me, know, blah, blah, A, B, C, D, and E, what they're talking about, that's better. You really need to say, well, this is what I think is best. Now, for me, I try not to steer too far away from Resto Druid. I know I've made a Feral guide, but that was with the help of Nemo and Quaz. They really helped me out with that video. I wanted to double check with them to make sure exactly what I was talking about in that video. There's an old Resto Shaman video which I've put in the description saying, this is way outdated. You need to make sure that if you're going to post something like that, to really make it clear to your viewers that that this is just what I think is best. This is not exactly what other people have theory crafted as being best, but this is what I use when I raid. The other part about that is clicking. Now, again, I'm going to pull this up real quick. Awbee is a clicker. I don't care if you're I'm just a half clicker. I just click on cooldowns and stuff like that. Guys, clicking on cooldowns, even if it's still a bad idea. Clicking in general is bad. Now, I learned that how to click, or I learned that it was bad years ago. When I started playing in the original classic / vanilla WoW, whatever you want to call it, everybody was clicking. We didn't know any better. And then I'd say by TBC, people started to realize, okay, clicking is really bad. And by Wrath, everyone had kind of figured, for the majority had figured out that clicking was really, really not good. And, I figured that the community and players and everybody had now, after this game has been out, this expansion has been out it came out in 2008, so really it's been out for 12 years. I figured by now, the knowledge had been out there that clicking is just bad in general. Yet I still see people doing it in their streams. I still see people doing it in their videos. And guys, here's the reason why clicking is bad. I'm going to give you a quick example of why it's bad. Now, it's even worse for a healer. I don't know how the hell you would ever heal if you were a clicker as a healer, but let's say you're DPSing and something's coming. You need to be paying attention right here to the center of your character to see what's going on. You need to be paying attention if it's something you need to move, something coming, or if you get a brain link, let's say, on like BQL or something like that, you need to be ready to move right now. Right? Your mouse shouldn't be down here trying to figure out, make sure you're actually clicking on that spell and then moving. No, you want to have the fastest reaction time possible, and you need to be not clicking. So in one of the videos I show, he's clicking on a potion of wild magic. You shouldn't be, that should be easily bound. There's no reason not to bind this stuff. And as you guys may know, me and my girlfriend, she just recently started playing World of Warcraft. One of the very first things that I have tried to teach her, one of the very first things that I want her to get used to, is that muscle memory and key binding her spells. It's very, very important. And somehow, some way, I think, at least here on the private servers, we seem to have lost our way with that. And we're allowing clicking, and people are okay with it and not calling it out. And the reason why you want to call this stuff out, guys, is not to, make fun of that person. It's not to degrade that person. That's not, always the reason behind that. With things like Raya Fury, sure, because he just screws up every 5 seconds anyways, whether he's clicking or not. But you want to call that stuff out so you get rid of it. You call it out and make sure that players understand that that's bad, then less and less people are going to be doing it. Okay? So again, guys, there's a lot I could say here. I know there's going to be a lot of comments, a lot of things that probably flack from players. People are going to be saying a whole bunch of stuff, and the bottom line is I just want this information out there to the player base, and I want people to get the proper information from the proper sources. So this is why I'm going to be, one of my upcoming videos, I don't know when, but I'm trying to talk with everybody I can and make sure I'm getting the right guides, and I will try to post a video with links to all the correct guides for everything to do with Warmane's Wrath of the Lich King on here, and the guides that you should be following. Not these people who claim that this is BIS or that's BIS because they like it. You want to be doing the best of the best. And maybe that's just how I am. Maybe that's just how I work. I don't know if it's something in me. I don't know. But whenever I'm learning a new class, or whenever I'm trying to play a new class, or even play something, I want to know from the best of the best how this works, how that works. I want to know every little thing that I can and pick it all apart and understand it to the best of my ability. So, anyways, guys, I hopefully you enjoyed the video. Please leave your comments down below, and I'll try to respond to all those comments, and so we can get this, hopefully get things like this corrected here on Warmane. And I'm hoping the community kind of takes it upon themselves to correct some of these people who post stuff like this, including myself. I'm 100% throwing myself under the bus here. There's been times where I've made mistakes. I've had to correct myself. I'll either put a comment in the comment section and pin it when I make a mistake, or if I've screwed up saying something. I definitely expect the same treatment from anybody out there. If you guys ever see me clicking, which you won't, but if you ever were to see me click a spell or a cooldown or something like that, or a potion, I would hope people would call me out on it too, because it really has no place in a game that's this old. We've come this far in this game, and players should really know, what's correct and what's not correct. And I feel like here, at least in her Warmane, players still get this impression that it's okay to click and do all these other things, and that this or that is BIS when it's not, because they get a lot of misinformation from a lot of people out there. So anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.
Lovely little current patch, however, we have Blink, and that is really all you need. It instantly teleports, and of course, don't forget about the double hymn and the Lightwell. God, I love myself some Lightwell. Obviously monsters with clear casting.